What's going on, everybody? It's Chris with Committed 3D Tech, and yes, I have been mapping with the Hivemapper Dashcam for roughly a month now. And as promised, we are going to review it. I earned roughly $500 in my first week of mapping with the Hivemapper Dashcam. In this video, what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about the setup, we're gonna talk about my earnings, we're gonna talk about my plan going forward as well. We're gonna talk about the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. Now, of course, if you do want to get your very own Hivemapper Dashcam or the Hivemapper Dashcam S, you can use my link down in the description. You'll get 10% off. Make sure you jump on the deal while you can. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that because I have lots of content coming out on Helium 5G and more content on the Hivemapper as well. I'm gonna be building out a fleet. So make sure you turn the notification bell on, and that way you'll get notified anytime I come out with a new video. And without further ado, let's get to the content. First things first, I want to give a huge shout out to John and Zoe down at Hivemapper because they've just really been phenomenal. John was my first contact over there. He was a great point of contact for me to start creating content on the Hivemapper Dashcam. And Zoe was the one who actually sent me the Dashcam. It was great because she sent me this sweater as well. All of you know I absolutely love swag. She actually sent me some chocolate in there as well. And so Zoe, I really appreciate that. Now, keep in mind, they did send me this dash cam for free. However, I rarely do sponsored opportunities because I want to share my organic and honest feedback, which is why I'm just a part of their affiliate program. Essentially, that just means that when you get a dash cam using my link, I get a small commission at no cost to you. Actually, you get a discount because I'm doing this content creation. So it's a win for you, it's a win for me, and it's a win for Hivemapper, which those are the opportunities that I really look for to review on this channel. So let's start with how much I earned. Now, the very first week, I made over 3,000 honey tokens. At the current price of honey, it's roughly 10 cents per honey. So I'm sitting at under 400 bucks right now, but the very first week, it was actually close to $600. At some times during the price fluctuation, it was over 600. Now, keep in mind, I'll share more about my plan going forward, but there's a reason that I didn't sell them, and I'm actually not upset about the price fluctuation is because I've seen projects like this. Helium is definitely a big one. I don't want to sell my honey for less than it's worth. And right now we're so early in it, the earning potential in the future is going to be, in my opinion, huge. Now, something else that's cool about Hivemapper is there are opportunities to earn honey without owning a dash cam. And I'll do a full review on this as well. You can do QA on mapping data, basically pointing out images that are collected by Hivemapper Dashcams are good enough for our customers. I'll put a link down in the description for that if you want to go and do that as well. Now, keep in mind, you're not gonna be earning as much as if you were contributing via mapping data, but it's still pretty good. My first week, I think I made like 100 honey, which was roughly 10 bucks, which is pretty cool because honey could be very valuable in the future. And so I think doing the QA is really important. Let's talk about the setup a little bit because it was a little more difficult than I had intended. For me, it's because you see, I put this in my sedan. I wanted it in a specific window. So at first I had it up front and it was doing pretty well, but I wanted it on the side. Now, Hivemapper recommends a certain amount of things. I'm gonna put a list down below of things that I recommend. Keep in mind, I didn't use all of the extra things, the joints, the attachments. I didn't use all of those to set this up, but the reason I got them all is because I can always return the stuff that I don't use, but I wanted to make sure that I had everything that I needed or might need. Keep in mind, all cars are different, so like where you want to put it is going to be different. The setup is super easy if you are not super picky about where you want to put it, if you just want to put it in the front. For my car, I had a little bit of difficulty because I have the heat strips in the front, and I also have a toll tag, which would get in the way. And then putting it on the side, my back side window is actually really, really tiny. So it was difficult to get the elbow and in position. Eventually I did. It took me probably 2 hours of finagling it to try to find the right spot. But it's in there now, it's mapping, we're doing great. So it is a little more difficult depending on your car or like where you want to put it. But overall, I think now that I have it set up and good to go, it's really great. I also did run the wire underneath all of my trim, so it's super clean. Basically, I don't have to worry about wires running all around. As we go, I am going to be building out a fleet of these, and so I'll make more content on this and give you all of the updates you need. So let's talk about the mapping experience. When I talked to Ari, who is the head of tech over there at Hivemapper, their goal was to make this a set it and forget it system. Now, we're still early on, and compared to when I was testing out the black view to actually having the Hivemapper Dashcam, it's night and day. I mean, it's so much easier than it was when they were testing it out on the unit that wasn't designed for it. So the Hivemapper Dashcam does make it super simple. What I will say is they are going through iterations of software. For the past 2 weeks, there was a GPS issue and I wasn't able to mine any honey token, which was disappointing. But number one, it was the holiday season, so Christmas, I understand how that goes. And number two, this is very, very early on in the development. And so I do expect for there to be some times where there are outages or issues going on, and that's not a huge deal, in my opinion. Now, they did push a firmware update yesterday, and it's working perfectly now, so I have no problems. I'm mining honey again, and I'm contributing to the map. The only other thing I will say is that sometimes I have had difficulties uploading. So 1 week, it actually didn't upload on Sunday night, and so I missed the reward cycle for that week. It wasn't a huge deal, but I do know that's something that they're working on, smoothing out the uploading process. And ultimately, as of right now, it is a set it and forget it system. Of course, I dive in a little bit more than most people. And that's why I do these things on this channel, is because in my opinion, it's not a good idea to be like fiddling with it while you're driving. If it doesn't work, don't worry about it. There is a lot of help in the Hivemapper Discord as well, and I'll put a link for that down in the description. Now, there is one other thing that I wanted to mention about the setup process that I think is really important. When I was going through the QA the first week, I noticed that a lot of people had their dash cam in like a weird, wonky position. And as of right now, when you're setting up the dash cam, they don't have like a live feed so that you can see where it's at. I think that's coming in the future. But as of right now, really the only way to do it, and I highly recommend doing it, is using a USB-C flash drive. Now, what this will do is it will upload your mapping data onto the flash drive, and that way you can go back and review it and just make sure that your dash cam is giving good high quality images. Because if they don't, when people go through QA, if they're bad images, they're going to reject them, meaning you earn less honey. And actually, it's something that I'm doing periodically because I want to make sure that my dash cam hasn't moved. I want to make sure that I'm earning as much honey as possible. So what's my plan going forward? Well, overall, I love the Hivemapper Dashcam. I think this is a huge industry. Like I've talked about before, this is something that has a huge revenue model, as opposed to something like Helium, where the LoRaWAN network is new. It hasn't been adopted yet. They're building out the 5G, which, yeah, that has a huge revenue model, but they're still so early on in that. Hivemapper is different because mapping data is actively needed right now. And it's something that it's pretty much a turnkey revenue model. They can start generating revenue right now from the mapping data that they have. So what's my plan going forward? Number one, I'm gonna keep mapping. And actually, I'm planning on building out a fleet of mappers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Probably I'm gonna do it worldwide as well. There's more on that coming. I don't wanna give away too much right now, but stay tuned because I think we have big things coming. The other thing I'm gonna do when it comes to my honey, I'm gonna hodl. I've shared this story before, but I sold 5,000 helium tokens way back when it was less than $1. And I got to see it go all the way up over $50. Yeah, I kick myself about it. Fortunately, I did put that capital into another investment that performed extremely well, but it was eye-opening. It was a learning experience for me. And so because of that, I realize how valuable these tokens are. I don't want to sell them right now. So there you have it. That is my review on the Hivemapper Dashcam. Keep in mind, we do have the Hivemapper Dashcam S coming. I will have one on the way, and as soon as I get my hands on one of those, I will be putting out a review. Now, of course, if you want to get your very own Hivemapper Dashcam, use my link down in the description, and you'll get 10% off. For the value of this thing, I think is really good. Of course, if you haven't liked this video, make sure you do that. That helps push this video forward to a larger audience. Just tap it until it turns blue for the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that because I have lots of content coming out, especially on the Hivemapper Dashcam, the Hivemapper Dashcam S, Helium 5G, which I have been deploying lots of those. Pretty much anything crypto, tech, or investing platform related. So turn the notification bell on, and that way you'll get notified anytime I come out with new videos. And other than that, thank you for tuning in, watching to the end of the video, liking, commenting, subscribing. Genuinely, I appreciate it. I love that I get to do this, and you all make that possible. Seriously, thank you. And with all that out of the way, my name is Chris with Committed 3D Tech, and we'll catch you next time. Shoryuken.